Welcome to No Game Sports. My name is Dom DeVincenzo.
I'm Brendan Jin.
I'm Ricky Rodriguez.
Today we're joined by right back from Minnesota United, DJ Taylor.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on here.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out?
So to kind of kick things off, we got to ask you, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hate the sound of like chewing. Even if it's like myself or like just someone loud chewing, like bothers me, which is really weird. But yeah, I definitely hate that sound.
That's fair enough. I picked up on that when I got older too. Like I didn't realize it when I was a kid, but as I get older, that definitely bothers me too.
What, you got a traumatic event from chewing noises or something?
Nah, it's the same thing. Like just as I was getting older, like if I'm just sitting in a quiet place and I hear someone chewing, it just sounds nasty, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. All right, so moving on a little bit. So we saw that you grew up in North Carolina. So what was life like there?
It was a good life. I mean, I think Raleigh, North Carolina I think it's rated one of the top places to live in the United States. Pretty calm, obviously good people around there, small town, not very big. So yeah, I just grew up with my single mother and she raised me well, and she's definitely someone I look up to.
Very nice. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
A little bit more to your personal life. We saw you have your own clothing line. So kind of what inspired you to go with that? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know that I had a, entrepreneurship, interest, until COVID hit. We had like 3 months where we couldn't play, and my story was just like, we have time away from the game. How can I use it to, explore other hobbies that I usually wouldn't have time to, for in season. For me, it was clothing. I always tell my friends it'd be cool to have a clothing brand. So that's where it started. And I just did a whole bunch of research on, drop shipping, Shopify, like what does it look like to actually make clothes. And that's kind of where it all started. And then Vinci came into life last year because I wanted to make, clothes, for like our generation, people can wear when they go out or if they're just at home chilling. So it's been really good. It's been an interesting path. Still learning at the same time, but it's been really fun.
For sure.
What's
the best aside from yours? What's the best clothing brand?
The best?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Honestly, my favorite streetwear brand is probably Stussy. But I think obviously Christian Dior is up there as well for like high end and Gucci. But I think my favorite streetwear brand is definitely Stussy.
Very cool. So moving on also a little bit. Obviously, you're a professional athlete and you travel many places. What's one of your favorite places to go?
I would definitely say Valencia, Spain, obviously because I played there for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was a incredible experience being in Europe and being in Spain, seeing the culture and how they, live their lifestyle there and having siestas and eating good paella. It's definitely a time of my life. Definitely trying to get back over to Europe. MLS isn't just my end goal, but definitely would recommend anybody go to Valencia, Spain for sure.
Okay, very cool.
What was the soccer atmosphere like playing in Valencia?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's their religion over there. So it's kind of, I guess, like here with NFL. But yeah, it's definitely possession oriented, definitely a lot about thinking through the game rather than, playing long balls and just running around physically. So I got to learn a lot in those 2 years that I was there from Spanish coaches and all my trainings, which I think really benefited me to be able to be as successful as I am now, back in the States.
For sure. So kind of like starting with soccer, how did you kind of get into it? And were you always playing defense? Was that always kind of your thing?
No, it's actually a funny story. I actually grew up playing football and American football. And then, at some point, I think it was maybe like middle school, I was like, all right, I got to really dedicate myself to one of these, really pursue it. And for me, I think the passion was just soccer. I just like the way it brought everyone together, no matter where they're from or whatever. And I personally just loved watching, FC Barcelona and Messi play all the time. So yeah, soccer was a sport I chose. And I was actually a 10 or a forward until I was about 16 years old. And then my academy coach did and said, like you can be an okay midfielder, because I was playing midfield at that time, more or less. And he was like, Boer, you can be a a really good outside back. You know, he just had to teach me how to defend and, you know, learn this whole new position that I didn't even think about playing ever. So that's kind of how I ended up becoming a defender and reaching the highest level of playing as a defender as well.
Okay. Now, backtracking there a little bit, you said you played American football. What position you play?
I was a running back. I also played wide receiver. Obviously,
Okay.
at that age, the height didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think like if I would have continued to play, I definitely would have been a running back for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned your height. How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
5'8". Okay. How do you say that that's impacted your soccer
Uh,
experience?
Luckily with soccer, you don't have to be tall to play.
Okay.
I think you definitely make up for it when you're on the shorter side because you're quicker, usually more explosive.
Yeah.
Can move your feet better than the guys who are super tall, you know, like center backs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So luckily, yeah, I chose the right sport. But I definitely think, you know, it helps with like being able to have a low center of gravity when I'm defending, so I don't get thrown off balance by attackers, and I'm able to, you know, win the ball, you know, have good core strength and be super balanced.
There you go. Shout out all the short guys out here, man.
Facts.
There's a few of us. All right. Now speaking a little bit about this season. So you guys picked up your first win of the season. I think it was last week. You got the start and a shutout. And then on Saturday, I believe it was another win and another shutout. So could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, last week was great. Obviously, we were in New York, which is always a tough place to play. You know, they play their style of long ball and just win the second balls and just try to, you know, physically abuse you guys the whole game. So it's definitely just like a dogfight when you're playing New York. So I think, you know, us being able to get through that, handle it, manage it, also keep a clean sheet and come out with a win, you know, kind of when the odds are against you, was a big result for us. And I think it just brings us closer together and helps us establish like who we want to be this year. Obviously, we want to let, you know, everyone else in the West and the whole league know that we're trying to compete for the top spot and take the MLS Cup home. Then obviously last weekend to just keep moving forward at home. You know, our standard is to win every game at home. Just because we have incredible support, so they definitely deserve it. And like I said, we're just on a roll right now where we're setting that standard that hopefully we can maintain this whole season. Just establishing that, you know, we're a top team, and like I've been able to be a part of that, you know, either as a starter or coming off the bench.
Yeah. You said you're learning to it, or you guys are establishing yourselves. So what would you say that identity is forming out to be for your team?
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, wherever we go, whether we're home or away, we're a team that's all committed to each other and committed to how our coach wants us to play. You know, at the end of the day, we're going to grind out a result, even if it's ugly, you know, or whether it's, you know, we're playing tiki-taka Barca style, you know, we're going to grind out the result and we're always going to fight. So I think for sure at home, and also make a statement that, you know, anybody that comes here, you're going to struggle, especially against us, you know, when we're at home.
For sure. So you kind of touched on what the key to get you guys to that top spot is. Are there any games then that you're circling, and that you're circling? And then on your team, are there any key players that you're really excited to have and that mean a lot to the team?
Yeah, I think from our team standpoint, I mean, I think all of our players are good. You know, obviously, I think another big thing is that they're all good guys as well, you know, off the field. So, you know, you're not just playing with the guys. You're not in a locker room with a whole bunch of guys who have a whole bunch of different personalities who think they're this and that. Everybody's pretty humble and works for each other. I mean, obviously, our main guy is Reynoso. He's incredible. I'm sure you guys have seen some highlights and stuff. So I'm really excited to, you know, be able to talk with him. You know, obviously learning Spanish in Spain helped me now, being able to talk with him. But yeah, I'm really excited for him. You know, Robin Lod's really good. You know, he's always scoring goals, plays for Finland. We got a couple more exciting players as well as Bongi, who's with South Africa right now. He's a really exciting young player as well. But other than that, I think most of our team is really, really good, and we have really good depth this year as well. So, you know, like I said, whether I'm starting or I'm on the bench, you know, all the guys are good. What was the second part of the question?
You got any games you're circling up?
Oh yeah. Honestly, you just circle at each game. To be honest, you just want to make sure you're getting your result each game. I mean, for me, maybe it's, you know, LAFC and you play against Carlos Vela. You know, he's sick. So it's always to test yourself against, you know, a guy who's been there, played overseas. Maybe Austin. I think their stadium's dope, so it's a fun game, you know, and you go play in Austin as well. I think just any home game. That's all the ones I look forward to is just the home games with our crowd that always sells out and our fans who have incredible support. It's just amazing experience each time we play.
You were also touching on all the players, didn't you? Was it your keeper St. Clair? He won Player of the Week MLS. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he won Player of the Week. Yeah, super happy for him. I'm actually one of the guys that's on the team that I'm actually like really close with. Yeah, he's definitely sick. Definitely had a great game in New Jersey, and then obviously last weekend helped him as well. And now he's with Canada on the national team. So I'm really happy for him. Definitely think he deserves it, and he definitely showed it last week winning Player of the Week.
For sure.
That's what's up.
Very nice. And kind of circling back a little bit, you touched on it earlier. You said you're growing up, your favorite team was Barcelona.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very nice. How did you end up liking them or following them aside from Messi?
Yes.
I know you said that.
Yeah, so I actually liked Manchester United growing up.
Okay.
And then, I think I just liked Cristiano and watching Cristiano play as a young kid, him doing all his fancy footwork and stuff, and me playing as a 10 or a striker. It's definitely what I tried to replicate. But then obviously I saw them in the final against Barcelona and I was like, who's this? And that's when I learned about Messi and, Pep Guardiola. I love his style of play and how he, has the possession style game. And obviously me going to Spain also helped with that. So yeah, eventually it was kind of, I turned more into a Messi and Pep follower.
Okay. Do you still follow like the other European leagues and stuff like that? Just watching them?
Yeah, I definitely always try to watch, the top teams, Bayern, Man City, even Premier League teams. I think any first or second division game in those leagues is always good. And for me, it's all about learning, so like not just watching as a fan, how can I, watch guys that are in my position and learn from what they're doing in the game and try to implicate it into mine.
Mm-hmm. It's always interesting, gotta check out who's the best. And then
definitely.
In this upcoming Champions League, you have a few favorite teams. Who do you think is going to win?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one.
Maybe like a top three that you're thinking of right now.
Personally, I'm just going for Man City.
Mm-hmm.
They're my team, obviously, with Pep and his style of play. I'm definitely going for Man City. Bayern is obviously crazy good. They're basically like machines, it seems like. The third one, I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. I would say Bayern or Man City for me.
Okay.
There you go.
Ricky's a Bayern fan.
Yeah.
So
I'm all in on that one. Yeah.
I'm excited to see Davies come back. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. He should be recovering the next couple weeks. I got to circle back though. You talked about you were a Man United fan. You met and you kind of saw Messi. So when the Ronaldo Messi debate comes up, what side are you on?
Messi for sure. I think Messi was born to play soccer. I think Ronaldo definitely is like an example of an athlete who can work so hard that he gets to that level. But I think Messi was like Ronaldo had to work for where he's at now. I think Messi was just born with his ability to just play. And for me, that's what kind of separates them. But I think it also goes either way, depending on their statistics and stuff like that. They both have just set crazy records. So at the same time, it's kind of like, why are we even, comparing them? They're going to be retired soon and we're all going to be sitting here missing them.
You got to respect the greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And then going back to your position, you're a big Barca guy. So then would it be fair to say if you had to point out, besides yourself, someone who plays that position as best, were you a Dani Alves guy or who would you say people should look at?
Yeah, Dani Alves is definitely my favorite. Favorite right back for sure. I'd say a left back would be Jordi Alba or Marcelo. And obviously now Davies is sick too. I also like Archaf Hakimi. He's kind of playing more like a wing back now, but I think he's sick as well. But for me, yeah, growing up, it was Dani Alves for sure.
And then so you spoke a little bit about your experience growing up, but like what would you say like soccer meant to you like as a whole?
I think I just the way I train, the way I approach the game has led me to travel to crazy places I never would think about. Even growing up, I was able to go to like England for a tournament. I went to Brazil when I was like 16. Yeah. Eventually going to Spain for 2 years. As a 17-year-old. And then obviously now playing MLS, going to all the big cities. On the West Coast. Because I'm from the East Coast, so I never actually played in the West. So it's been great. Just soccer has led me to travel all these places and connect with a whole different group of people. That I would never meet. I feel like, and yeah, I think just my love for the game comes from that and the passion that it involves within the game as well. That kind of drew me towards it. And then just like I said, just how I approach it, trying to push myself out of my comfort zone in soccer every day, I think has led me to, grow my mentality and lead me to where I am now. And I obviously try to apply it to the rest of the areas of my life as well. So it's kind of what's hand in hand with me.
Definitely. That's a great approach. And then building off of that as well, I mean, you spoke about, playing internationally and then also playing in America. How would you say, like, how do you feel about the growth of popularity within soccer in America is going right now for you in your perspective?
I think the last 5 years it's grown incredible amounts. You see a lot more people walk around with jerseys on nowadays. A lot of people at pubs and bars watching a team that's over in England. Even if it's at 2 p.m. our time, they're getting drinks and just joining each other. And all the talk, you see on Twitter, whatever, social media, you see all the people talk about soccer and watching European teams. I think it's just incredible to see how it's growing. And I expect it to grow even more as each year goes by.
Yeah, that's cool. And then Rick B.
I was gonna ask, what's in America, what's one of the like hardest stadiums you've played in so far? Like against like the crowd, the team, stuff like that. Like what's the hardest one that you faced?
Yeah. I mean, like unfortunately last year, like it depended, like the capacity for stadiums depended on the state.
Sure.
So some of them weren't like full 100% capacity. I would definitely say it's tough to play at LA for sure, LAFC. Their stadium is sick, but their fans are crazy too. Austin was dope. I was really impressed with Austin Stadium. It's brand new, very open. I think they had a sold out crowd too as well. So that was a really cool place to play at. I've heard Portland. When we went there, it wasn't fully packed, but I've heard when it is packed, it's pretty crazy. It gets pretty loud. So I would say like one of those three for sure. I think ours is definitely one of the best too, from a fan standpoint. Like definitely hard to play at. For me, if I was on another team, I think it'd be hard to play at Allianz Arena.
Very nice.
Most definitely. Other than that, you guys are good?
I'm all good. Do you have anything that you want to talk about? Coming up this season, anything you want to highlight?
No, just excited for this season. Hopefully people will tune in. I think, we're going to do a lot of big things this year. Obviously, last year we had a rough start going 0-4, but now we're, undefeated in the first four. So I think it really shows, what kind of standard we're setting, as I mentioned before, and just going to continue to keep growing every day. And I hope everyone else does the same.
Perfect.
Very nice.
All right. And with that being said, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Glad to have you.